Hi everyone and welcome back to a new tutorial on the how to make a simulator game series. So before I start this tutorial, I want to let you guys know that I have a Patreon, so if you guys want to support me and want to have access to every single one of my tutorial files, including the FPS file, like hatching, the simulator, basically everything, that will be available on my Patreon for in the $10 tier. The link will be in the description. With that being said, let's start. So in this tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at coding some UI, such as making the close buttons work, as well as making opening and closing frames work fine. So what we're going to be doing is having a local script inside of our main screen GUI, and we'll rename it to GUI manager. So GUI manager. Okay, so what we're gonna do is have a variable for our screen GUI. So local sg is equal to script.parent, and what we're gonna do is for I, v in pairs script. Okay, before we start coding, I forgot to add some frames. So add a frame to your main screen GUI and rename it to buttons, to open buttons, or never mind, don't do that. What I'm going to do is add a frame and rename it to frames, and set the size of this frame to 1, 0, 1, 0, so it covers the entire screen, and the background transparency to 1. And after doing that, you're gonna want to take a frame. So let's say we have this shop, and you're gonna want to duplicate this frame, put it inside of the other frames, and rename it to shop, and then put in the actual shop inside of the other shop. I know this may sound confusing, it actually is, but just do what I'm doing. Rename this to mainframe instead. And what do we have here? So what I did was have a frame that contains every single frame, but what I just realized is that we don't need any tweening, so I'm not going to have each frame inside of another frame. So just to get your shop, rename it back to shop and delete the old shop frame. And what I'm going to do is make sure that this is invisible. And what I'm going to do is add a text button, which will be renamed to open shop test. And I'm going to have some UI corners and set the text to test. What I'm going to do now is add a object value inside of this and rename it to opens, and set this value, click on it, and click on whatever frame you want this button to open. In this case, the shop, so click on the shop. After doing that, go back to your GUI manager script and do sg get children, actually get descendants. Do if v find first child opens, then local to open, or let's do v.mouse button one click mouse v.mouse button one click connect function. And what I'm going to do is loop through every single frame. So for I, v in pairs, or let's do for underscore frame in pairs sg get descendants, or sg wait first child frames get children. Do if frame is a frame, then frame visible is equal to false, and v find first child opens dot value dot visible is equal to true. Now in here we're gonna do if v confined first child closes, confined first child closes, then we're gonna copy this, or actually copy this first, paste it here, and instead of turning this to false, we're gonna turn this to, keep this at false actually, and do v confined first child opens, actually that's it, just do this and set that to false. Now put a wait here, maybe put a wait 1 second, and what I'm going to do is go to my shop, go to the text button that closes, add a object value and rename it to closes. Now I'm going to set the value to my shop, so it will close that shop. Now I'm going to open up this. As you can see, it opens and I can close it. Now this is good, but we still have to, I still need to show you what all of this does, instead of just changing the visibility of something. So what I'm going to do is add another frame. Let's rename this one to red shop, or let's just rename it to tests. And I'm going to make it visible and remove every single thing from it besides the close button. And I'm going to select my close button. I'm going to set the closest property to the test frame. Now what I'm going to do is add another shot, another button, and change the text to test2, and change the opens property to the test frame. Now if I play the game and press the close button, it will close that, and if I go ahead and try to open the other frame, it will close the old one, and as you can see, open up the new one. Now we don't really see the difference since they are the same size, but I'm going to show you what it does. So I'm just going to scale this one up and play the game and open this one up, and as you can see, it switches between them, and if I close a frame, it will close it. And I think this is going to be pretty much it for today's tutorial. If this was helpful, make sure to subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends, and I will see you all in the next tutorial. Bye.